You have arrived at the K.O.E. Nation. Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special Nebraska Spirit review, folks. This is the new darling of Omaha and Lincoln, Golden Sheaf. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can find me, of course, at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And I am joined this evening by my indomitable broadcast partners, the one, the only,
your Big Buckin' Emperor Chicken. Find me YouTube and Facebook, Big Buckin' Empire.
And of course, the one, the only,
the former darling of Omaha, Tony fucking G. I'm quadruple distilled, triple barreled, and sherry finished.
Nice. Now, folks, this one is kind of the new, like I said, the darling of the Nebraska whiskey scene. Distillery number 1, Golden Sheaf, authentic old style bourbon out of Omaha, Nebraska. 53.5 alcohol by volume, 107 proof. Batch number 2, bottle number 366 of 955, or 950 rather. So I'm more than a little curious about this because everybody's been talking about, thank you, but it's got one of them little idiot proofs strips there.
Very helpful. Thanks, like these.
Indeed.
Yes, I mean, I don't think any of us would be able to conquer it.
And now you're okay. Oh.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
The sticker stopped the full pull. Well.
Do better.
Well, let's see what the juice.
Yeah.
Fine, let's taste it first, I guess.
We'll give it a shot.
I want to drink it.
The folks at Gold Sheaf are just loving us.
Yeah.
Yep, so far they're like, well, this sucks. Next.
Well, you guys kind of asses.
You know, we should have just overreacted to pork pop.
It's amazing.
They all would have rewound like 7 times.
Like, even that was better.
Okay, that's significantly better.
Like, yeah.
There, it gets better.
It does.
It's like, okay, the cork had to oxidize.
So it was user error?
Yeah, a little bit of user error there.
All right, she got some legs, a little bit.
The nose is lovely.
It's like a butter.
Butter and crisp apple. Green apple.
Say,
Yeah,
very.
apple.
It has like that
Pear.
It's like a baked apple.
I'm getting pear.
You know, like the Maker's Mark Private Select, some of them have that kind of apple. That's what I'm getting.
Yep.
Pear? I could see it, but like, it's not my first thought.
Oh wow, I'm getting pear. Heavy pear.
Well, gentlemen.
Wow, I love
Jelly.
that. Crisp.
Slanjava.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Oily and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
This is up your alley, too.
Oh yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo! Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm betting that's a high rye. Bourbon.
Yes, I was gonna say.
Considering
Man.
they have a rye, I'm betting I'm right here.
That's delicious. Wow.
Oh, and it's letting it sit after.
Wow.
What is? There's like a darker fruit notes in there. Like center of my tongue afterwards.
It's almost kind of like a grapefruit.
Okay.
You can get more of a.
Is it like a blackberry?
Yeah, I'm getting more of a berry.
Okay. A lot heavier on the fruit than I expected, but yeah.
It's like a not quite ripe berry. It's like it's got tart.
Yeah.
To it. It's tart, but it's like dark.
I like
flavored.
that. That's nice. 107.
Great.
This doesn't shy away. The proof is not hidden. This
107.
This is spicy.
Yeah, if you're into spicy whiskey, this
yeah.
is right up your alley.
Nice. I like that.
Which, dude,
Yep.
nope. I'm betting you're.
No complaints here.
So, folks, we're gonna grade this on a couple of 5-star scales. For those who do not know, 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The KOE Nation has advised you well. So, we're gonna grade this as a bourbon,
Okay.
as a whiskey,
All right.
cask aged spirit, It's shelving. And for those new to this show, the secret fifth question. And while we get into that,
do we know it's aging or
well, let's get into this a little
details
bit.
At all?
Golden Sheaf, authentic old-style bourbon and rye whiskeys were some of the most sought-after spirits during the late 1800s and early 1900s. These superior premium whiskeys could be found in most drinking establishments from New York to San Francisco. Golden Sheaf was first produced on a 16-acre conglomerate along the Missouri River in the Omaha, Nebraska territory in 1866. A gold medal was awarded at the Trans-Mississippi and International Exposition held in Omaha, Nebraska in 1898. At its peak of production, the distillery produced upwards of 13,000 gallons of spirits daily and was responsible for generating more than 90% of the state's tax revenue until the onset of Prohibition. Finally, after a 100-year absence, Golden Sheaf was reborn in 2020, continuing with its supreme standard of excellence and quality. Golden Sheaf was awarded a silver medal in the U.S. Open Whiskey Competition and both double platinum and platinum in the 2022 Ascot Awards. Nice. We are committed to blending and producing nothing slight of sophisticated, premium, satisfying spirits and experience. We look forward to the journey with you. Cheers, David Mark Young. And it says distilled in Kentucky, Indiana, and Louisiana. Interesting. Bottled in Southwest Beverages in Lincoln, Nebraska. So
this is seeing some shit.
Yeah, it's
around the world.
So if it's Indiana, I'm guessing MGP.
Yeah,
which they make good stuff. Kentucky, I really want to say like the spicy batches of Four Roses. Like it's my first thought.
That'd be nice.
Louisiana, if you got any idea, let me know in the comments. I'll be honest, it would be shot in the dark. If
Uncle
I were
Gubbo's moonshine.
Probably not.
That's nice. That was lovely.
Yeah, you're right. The fruit is getting darker in the middle of my tongue, and it's like, and also like a dark cocoa powder.
Yeah, there's like a chocolate. I got chocolate on the nose for sure, but yeah,
like bitter chocolate.
I get like
not like
the blackberry or like the blueberry syrup you'd put on like pancakes.
Okay.
I like that, but it's so much more oily. It's not thick.
Well, now, gentlemen,
which I like.
Now we gotta get back to grading here.
Yes.
So, as a bourbon on a 5-star scale, Tony, what would you give
there's
it?
homework.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, with this whiskey, there will be a test. This is science for
a double dip.
Yeah, I don't. Man, as a bourbon, I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna give this a solid 4. That's good. Just a drop. That's good. Jesus.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's a solid 4 for Tony.
Yeah,
sure.
A solid 4. I'm even cleaning myself like a cat.
Yep. Now, the reason I'm not asking as a Nebraska distillate is because this is bottling in Nebraska.
Yeah, totally.
But, you know, I still appreciate the fact that they're trying to revive this brand. So that I got to give
I'm curious if they're going to be eventually sourcing their own down the road. I assume that's probably everybody's dream.
Eventually.
So yeah, I'd be looking forward to that to see what they come up with. But as the product stands, I usually don't get too much into the spiciness of it. But this, to me, if you're going to be spicy, this is a perfect proof to do it at. And it's not too much. Like some of you that are like, oh, I don't like a lot of that super hot, spicy, crazy stuff. This is subtle for spicy. Like spicy lovers are going to love it. And then it's not offensive to those that don't chase that down. I'm gonna give it a 3.75. This is damn good stuff. I'm
gonna be honest. I'm gonna agree with you because 3.75. It's an excellent bourbon. The longer it sits, it gets a little more viscous and buttery and oily. But like I said, like there's a lot of room for expansion upwards here. So I'm liking where this can go, and it's bottled here in Nebraska. I'm wondering if they're going to consider aging some of this here for a little longer.
I would think,
because I mean it's quite interesting, and they got a rye too. So I'm thinking,
can't wait to try that.
When we do
delicious.
When we do the next rye tournament, we'll probably enter it because you know there's not a lot of Nebraska ryes. Turns out it's a pretty short
Not
list.
enough.
No.
Get to it.
You heard the man.
Motherfucker's spitting.
Only takes 2
So-
years.
I always got like 20.
That's all. That's all. We've all got that. Now, folks, we move on to whiskey. A little bit more wide world of sports. Put it up against all the scotches, all the bourbons, all the whiskeys, Canadian whiskeys, Japanese whiskeys, what have you.
As a whiskey, I'm gonna say 3.25.
3.25. And why do you say that, sir?
Because, like you said, this does have a lot of room for improvement because it can only go up from here. It's so nice. This is something you could mix, but you kind of have to be selective how you cocktail this. And this is not going to be, obviously, like, this is a little bit more presentation than somebody running into the gas station for a last-minute bottle of whiskey. So this is probably not going to be in that realm. But I think with a little more TLC, this could easily be a full.
It just needs a little tender love and care.
Mm-hmm.
Check
Yeah. I think Tony nailed it for the most part there. I could see this in a couple of things. I could see this in an old fashioned. I mean, the spice and even that rye consistency.
Yep.
Really, like some things would cocktail really good with this. I think you're spot on though. 3.25 is.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair score. Yeah, and there's nowhere but up to go. I mean, this is good.
I'm going to go with 3.5
Okay.
because I think this would go supreme with a whiskey fix.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2 parts whiskey, 1 part simple syrup, 1 part lemon juice. Served over crushed
this
ice.
would be nice.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
actually.
so that would be my preferred cocktail with this is the whiskey fix, but that's why I'm going to go 3.5 because it's infinitely cocktailable. Good party whiskey. Now, cask aged spirit. This is putting it up against all the rums, cognacs, reposado tequilas, añejo tequilas, what have you.
I'm going to say 3.39 and a half.
3.39 and a half.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. It just spoke to me. This is right there. It's almost 3.5, but like there needs to be some age statements made. I don't know that you need to finish this. I think we're good.
Oh, imagine finishing it though.
You could
Like this in a rum cask.
Ooh. I don't know if that would clash, but it would be delicious.
I think it would bring
It would be
out
good.
a lot.
It would be good.
Sherry finish.
Yeah, I think
Sherry-
the age statement is for why I'm
Sherry
not going
works
higher,
with,
but
like
I
everything.
Yeah.
I really like
You
this.
could
So
cherry finish vodka, it'd be good. So I'm going to
Still
go
be vodka.
in honor of Tony because it's 53.5 proof. I'm going to go 3.53.
oh yes,
Well, I'm gonna go 363.
363 stars.
Yeah, that many. 3.63.
Oh,
Yes, yes. Now, so interesting stuff here. But now, gentlemen, shelving. Would you put it on your top, middle, or bottom?
This
Middle.
is solid middle shelf. Solid middle shelf.
I'm going to agree with you. Now, here's the interesting part, the secret fifth question. If this bottle runs empty, will I seek another one? I paid, what do you think I paid for this?
55.
No.
Probably upwards to 100.
$112.
Ooh, spicy meatball.
It's,
Damn.
like, I was a little shocked when I said, like, hey, Golden Sheaf is here. Oh, my word. They are
Right.
certainly proud of it.
they are.
So
Okay.
I was going to pick up the bourbon and the rye, but I was like,
Yeah, I seen.
guess I'm picking up the bourbon
I
today.
seen both the bourbon and the rye in Norfolk on my way down here last week. Thought about it, and I think they were both at 99. That's probably
Okay, that's probably as good as you're going to find it,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I found it one place like 107.
Yeah.
And
Dollar
so-
for every proof.
well done. Like, okay, that would be a little more fair.
Okay.
Like 107, yes, I can
Glad
kind
all
of,
whiskey's not that way.
Yes. kind of like
But
Scotch.
I
I'd
kind
be
of wish
drinking-
all whiskey was that way.
I'd be drinking a lot of 80 proof whiskey.
I'd be drinking some really fancy stuff.
Oof.
True. So, you know,
I think I'd pick up the rye first because now I'm curious.
yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna pick up the rye first before I pick up another bottle of this because I want to explore into that and kind of see what this brand does there. And that's of course going to be entered into the next 32 rye tournament. Chicken, what's your thoughts?
Well, I might beat you to picking up the bottle of rye because I am curious as well. And you know, as we work our way into the future years and future tournaments, and you know, the whole rye tournaments is, yeah, I got some good ones to already throw in there. So why not? Yeah, I'll probably go grab either. If they don't have the rye, I'll grab this one just because I do enjoy this.
Yes.
I want this on my shelf.
All righty. Well, folks, Golden Sheaf bourbon whiskey, definitely something to pick up, and also a conversation piece for if you happen to live in Nebraska. So, folks, gentlemen, as I'm known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E. Nation for this review of this Nebraska spirit here, folks. Gold Sheaf, thank you. This is some amazing stuff, folks. Be sure to check it out if you get a chance. It's going to be available all over the state here real soon, so I'd recommend it. But bottle number 366, it's already gone, I'm afraid. You only got 350 or 950 left to go, or 949 left to go. Math. That's how it works, folks. So, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I hope all of you make it back to the K.O.E. Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. Raise a glass to yourselves. Tony, Chicken, take it away.
As always, folks, appreciate you for tuning in. This was another fine bourbon. Look forward to many more to come. Appreciate you. Love you.
I'm just Tony G. Thanks for stopping in.
Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for a very special review of Golden Sheaf Rye Whiskey. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man of the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. And I am joined this evening by my indomitable broadcast partner, the one, the only,
Non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled, rye loving motherfucker, Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me at TikTok, Tony the Rod 2.0. And yes, it is time for one that I have been eagerly anticipating. Oh, baby, it's been sitting on my shelf for, I don't know, probably a month at least now, just staring at me. Golden Sheaf Rye Whiskey.
Ah, yes. Authentic old-style rye out of Omaha, Nebraska. Batch number 1, bottle number 226 of 825. So I really like how super small batch this stuff is. So you kind of feel like you're getting in on something special.
Oh, I have a feeling it's going to be plenty special.
All right. Let's see how it sounds on the pop.
Marvelous.
Got some bass there. And also, T, this is the first time we're both utilizing the Nebraska Bourbon Society glass, which a very special Secret Santa got for me. Who you are. Goodness gracious. T, I'm going to let old 2020 over here get into the reading while I get into the notes.
Golden Sheaf authentic old-style bourbon and rye whiskeys were some of the most sought-after spirits during the late 1800s and early 1900s. These super premium whiskeys could be found in most drinking establishments from NYC to San Fran. Golden Sheaf was first produced on a 16-acre conglomerate along the Missouri River in Omaha, Nebraska territory in 1866. Gold medal was awarded at the Trans-Mississippian International Exposition held in Omaha, Nebraska in 1898. At its peak of production, the distillery produced upwards of 13,000 gallons of spirits daily and was responsible for generating more than 90% of the state's tax revenue until the onset of Prohibition. Finally, after a 100-year absence, After a 100-year absence, Golden Sheaf was reborn in 2020, continuing with its supreme standard of excellence and quality. Golden Sheaf was awarded a silver medal in the U.S. Open Whiskey Competition at both double platinum and platinum in the 2022 Ascot Awards. We are committed to blending and producing nothing slight of sophisticated premium satisfying spirits and experience. We look forward to the journey with you. Cheers, David Markel.
On the nose, marvelous. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, that is lovely.
It's all the typical rye notes, but the mint isn't overpowering. And
no, there is a heavy apple influence there.
And clove.
Yeah.
Because normally for most rye, it's just mint.
This reminds me a bit of Victor's on the nose. And Bullet. Like
yeah,
a Bullet
I was
mixer.
about to say, it, like at first it's Bullet, but then something actually...
Oh, yeah.
Woodford Rye? Store picks?
Okay.
Now that one also had like kind of a weird mulberry. So swap out the mulberry for apple.
Okay.
And you're getting closer. So.
Oh, this is gonna be delightful. I have a feeling. I hope. High expectations. Haven't had a bad one yet.
I honestly am never as enthusiastic about rye as you are.
True.
Now, granted, I'm a corn farmer, so I'm always like, hey, support your local corn farmers. And yes, in this case, this is literally stuff with Nebraska-made corn. But I have to appreciate the rye here. And actually, I do have some seed rye on one of my fields right now as we speak. So,
finally.
It's got like that rye spearmint. But not caramel apple. But this is going to be very weird and very specific, but I'm right. It's like that mint is sitting on top of it is molasses apple.
Yep.
Okay, like a heavy molassesy apple on top of that mint.
That is largely refreshing. Like, now I want to go back to the nose because that opens you up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My first thought with this is great cocktail for this would be a whiskey fix.
Yeah.
2 parts whiskey, 1 part simple syrup, 1 part lemon juice. I've had some people use lemonade for it, which is awesome.
I have a better idea for a cocktail. You take this, 2 parts in one of these glasses, drink it.
It's not quite brown cinnamon, but there's something adjacent to that hits the middle of your tongue.
It's like, it's got a spearmint with like a sugary coating, like a brown sugary coating, like you're saying.
It makes you want to think cinnamon to brown sugar, but you're not quite sure where it is. But it's that kind of like bitter cocoa powder.
54.5, 109. Okay.
Like, if they've got like kind of cocoa powder that's like 80-90%, and that's like to the point where you can make bitter chocolates out of it. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting here. Okay.
Man,
so this is a rye lover's rye, I'm gonna say.
That's fantastic. I'm loving that. That's really nice. It is pretty overpowering in terms of that rye flavor that you expect to really open up your airwaves, open up your palate. You're going to get that in tenfold here.
109 proof.
Yeah, 109
so
proof.
54.5% alcohol by volume. So this is, as Jim Ross would say, not for the faint of heart.
No, this is a heavy hitter. And wow, there is a
boy howdy, as Jim Ross would also say.
There's a simple syrup finish, and
I can.
And it's
see
a specific that I'm trying to pinpoint. I'm fixated on that finish. It's identical to something
on the palate that neither of us are picking up. But it's I couldn't. Yeah. Now that's what makes this one kind of interesting to you. I feel like usually it's for an expensive bourbon or expensive scotch that you kind of sit and like. Rye for me isn't a sit and consider whiskey. Okay, like if a storm is rolling through, like a thunderstorm rolling out my front door, I'll usually pour a nice bourbon because I can actually literally set it out into the rain and get some raindrops to help it breathe, or some scotch. But this is a rye that could actually go to that introspection whiskey,
take a sip, and as the finish hits you, I'm going to reveal it, and you're going to hate me for it. Just simple honeybee honey. The bear honey. Bear bottle honey. You get that flavor. You don't quite get the texture, but in your mind, that flavor is reminding you of that.
Well, that's where I'm kind of getting molasses.
It's not molasses for me. It's honey.
I know, my grandma had a thing of molasses she kept in her kitchen, and it's kind of making me think of that. So I can tell you were raised on the honeybee honey. At grandma's house, I had some sort of old-timey molasses. I couldn't tell you what it was if you forced me to give you
It's that sweetness, that sticky sweetness on the finish that coats your palate the same way that honey would. Like, obviously, you're not going to get the same texture because honey's incredibly thick, but this has that. Yeah, I know that there is something we're missing, though. And let's look it up. I wonder. I'm curious because there's no tasting notes on here. I am quite curious.
Yeah,
now.
you looked at, like, now I'm going to say with everything we've had from Golden Sheaf, we've had their bourbon, we've had their rye now, and then we've also had their finished whiskey with James Arthur Vineyard casks. That is cut and above for most things that can say they have anything to do with Nebraska. I'm going to be honest with you, T. This is kind of shocking for me. I think this rye is... I'd have to rank it number 2.
Wow.
It's that... Now, I love
the order. What's your order, then?
Finished whiskey with the James Arthur Vineyard port cask.
Oh.
Rye number 2.
Wow.
This bourbon. No, I love this bourbon. Okay. I've been, I don't drink very much, like, unless I feel like celebrating or it's review night with Tony G here. So the fact that I've got into this is actually kind of a testament. So, and then this is William Lee. You can't blame me for that. Nobody can blame me for that.
Yeah, I think I would agree 100% with that ranking, honestly. And I do love the bourbon as well. The tasting notes on this is coming from sealbox.com. Full of spicy, peppery notes, perfectly balanced with sweet caramel and slight oak. Very simple, very straightforward.
Like, I want to say that, like, what they're saying is oak to me kind of comes across as like a pseudo leathery with a bit of tobacco influence. So
I'm really liking that a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Like,
that's really, really good.
And like I said, I don't get enthused about ryes. Okay,
No,
like not nearly to the extent you do. Like me, I'm looking at my top shelf over there and like on my shelves, like there's like 4 ryes. Okay, everything else is bourbons and scotches and brandies and that kind of stuff. But you got a few more ryes.
I love me some rye.
Now, before we get into the grading or anything, I think it just goes without saying, this is going to get entered into the next rye whiskey tournament.
Absolutely.
The 32 rye tournament, whenever Chicken calls it, or if 3 more years passes, because it comes every 4 years like the Olympics, folks. So we're going to see what happens there. Chicken just calls rye whiskey tournament tomorrow, like, you. But so now we move on to the hard part, the grading.
That's so good.
For those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So, Tony, we're going to grade this as a rye whiskey. As a whiskey. As a cask-aged spirit, it's shelving. And for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. So, Tony, as a rye whiskey.
Okay. Thought long and hard about
I'm going to be all over the place on this. I'm going to be honest with you.
Why don't you go first on rye?
If I wanted to spoil somebody for rye and have them try a rye that's going to kind of ruin the type for them going forward, because then there's only a handful of ryes are going to after this. This would be where I would start. I'd start off somebody to spoil them. Like if you're going to start them off just right, start off with a bullet or something just to give them an idea. But this is exemplary as a rye. So I'm going to give it 4.25 on a 5-star scale. I know that seems a little high, but like I said, I'm going to be all over the place on this one. So, but as a rye, this is an excellent proof of type. If aliens were to land and they were going to be like, Earthlings, show us rye whiskey. Well, okay, these are aliens. I kind of want to treat them. So now I might pull out one of my store picks, but if I don't have one of those handy.
Okay.
That was very descriptive. Tony's like, wow, that's a thing.
Yeah, okay, so that just happened. 4.25.
I feel good about that one.
Good. You're going 4.25. I'm going to go 4.5 as a rye.
Ooh.
This is splendid. This is splendid stuff. I'm digging this, like you said. At 109 proof, this is going to be for somebody who's seasoned in rye and knows what to expect. Like I said, that rye flavor cup runneth over. So, yeah, you might want to dabble in some of the nasty shit first, just so you kind of have an understanding where the base is. Then you can work your way up and kind of get, oh my gosh, it gets so much better and better and better. And then something like this lands in your lap. You're like, wow, that's fantastic stuff. This is excellent.
All right, so as a whiskey, Tony, putting it up against all the bourbons, the ryes, the scotches, the Japanese whiskeys, Canadian whiskeys, what have you, in the world of whiskey.
The whiskey, I'm going to give it a 3.8.
3.8.
Yes.
As a whiskey, I'm going to give it 3.25 because I'm remembering all the marvelous scotches and such. It's a wide world of sports.
Yeah, but I, like you brought up like Japanese whiskey specifically. I think this would hold its own tenfold in that category. There's not a lot of Irish whiskeys that are going to match the proof on this that would have the same external qualities as one might.
Talk me at 3.5.
There we go.
Okay, like it's because it also makes really well with a lot of stuff. I immediately fired off a cocktail. And I actually think 7-Up and Sprite and the lighter colas, if you were going to mix with cola, rather than the darker colas like Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, that kind of stuff, I think this would go better with like a Sprite.
All right.
If you had to. Like, I'm not saying do it, but if you had to, like, I think that's just something that the K.O.E. Nation doesn't want, but demands to know, too. So.
Fine.
Usually you can tell if I don't like a whiskey, I'll put it down and I won't have touched the glass for the rest of the review. Elijah Craig.
Excellent key, you piece of shit.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel,
It's
too.
a piece of shit whiskey. Here you go.
Yeah.
Unlike this is a great whiskey.
Yep. Cask aged spirit on a 5-star scale.
We don't know the age on this. Do we have any subtle idea?
You know, at least more than 2, probably not much more than 5.
Okay. So probably realistically like 3, which is actually pretty impressive given the fact it's 109 proof. The casking is fantastic here. They clearly knew they had something special here. Pulled it out the right time.
Distilled in Kentucky, Indiana, and Louisiana. Bottled by Southwest Beverages in Lincoln, Nebraska.
There you go.
So even more local to us because we're out here in Western Nebraska.
So it's an concoction. So I'm gonna give it.
I mean, as a blend master, you should love it.
I'm gonna give it 3.5 because we don't know just how old it is. We don't really know the exact origins, which doesn't necessarily have to hurt it, but I'd like to see an age statement. I'd like to know kind of the direction and the baseline of can we improve on this? Like already, the marks are spectacular for this. We're loving this. It's delicious. I just like to know where the bar is. So can we move in this direction? Can we tweak it a little bit here? Can we expand the horizon a bit? I mean, I like to know these things when it comes to casking.
I'm trying to think of a wine casking that would work with this, and my first thought is Madeira.
Oh,
because like that's always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like anything from James Arthur is so sweet that it's just going to immediately kick up the sweet for something like this. So yeah, amazing stuff. But yeah, for cask age, I'm going to agree with you. 3.5 stars.
There you go.
Marvelous stuff. I can't dispute or deny. Now, in terms of its shelving, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go top shelf conversation piece.
Bam! Top shelf. Go. For one, it presents beautifully.
Yeah, the bottles do present very handsomely, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It does kind of give you that old timey feel, but also it's kind of like anything from Nebraska. Yeah, you have a local boy conversation piece, and any of these bottles like Golden Sheaf, Loop River, they make great gifts for people who used to live here in Nebraska, but they've moved away and they're back for the holidays. I've actually utilized Loop River as a gift for that purpose and also for friends who are maybe never coming back to Nebraska ever again. So it's a great gift. So that's what I've used this particular for. But if you wanted to get a little more, we'll get into that here in a second. But if you want to get a little more spendy, you could go this route. So now, Tony, the secret 5th question. When this bottle runs empty, will you seek another? What did this bottle run you, USD?
I got this at a pretty good price at just over 100. Typically, you're going to see this probably closer to 120.
Yeah, most
Take.
that's about the range for Golden Sheaf is going to be about 99 to 115 bucks, give or take. Now, considering there's only now 824 bottles that we know of out there, probably a few less at this point.
Yeah.
If I see one, yeah, I'm probably going to keep one just for like, I'd probably keep it and probably wouldn't open it for some years just for collector's purposes. Just so like, yeah, I got one, you know, right when this Golden Sheaf company was getting started, because I see bigger and better things for this particular company. I'm going to be like, when I saw and tasted their James Arthur Vineyard port finished whiskey, is like, okay, these folks get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, David Mark Young, you've done it again. Thank you. So Tony, would you seek this bottle out?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just hoping there's enough left in this bottle when the rye tournament happens, or I'm gonna have to buy another one. Oh no.
Chucky does.
Yeah.
So folks, as I'm known to say around here,
Hang on.
oh, Tony's doing the rye and bourbon blend. All that being blend. Yeah, I've been holstering that line for a while. Tony is going to give us, you know what, fuck it. No, don't even bother.
Yeah. I have to know. Done this with the Wild Turkey, bourbon and rye, to marvelous results.
So
I have to know.
the blend of bourbon and rye from Golden Sheaf. Ooh. Really,
Oh.
It rounds out the rye nose and kind of adds a buttery layer.
Mm-hmm. A lot more bourbon spice though now.
I'd hope.
Also, that's
And I'm curious, like, where, like, obviously,
107.
obviously a magician isn't going to reveal his secrets, but like, I'm wondering, like, Louisiana, where in the hell, like, where in God's creation, this man sourcing whiskey from Louisiana? Like, does he have a cousin that works there or something?
Possibly. Oh dear God.
That reminds me a lot of that Wild Turkey rye and bourbon blend you did.
Wow.
Like,
Wow. That's that right there is an A. That is an A blend right there. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, so sweet.
this is reminding me of a whiskey, and I'm trying
man.
to think of what it is.
Just adding caramel layers to everything we just said about this rye. Wow. Cheers.
Oh, this is good. I can't think of what whiskey this is reminding me of.
Mm.
Actually, think of like
Wow.
TX whiskey with, instead of malt, rye and a much higher proof. That's what this is.
I'm specifically thinking of like the rare breed rye and the rare breed bourbon.
Blends. Oh yeah, that was a great blend.
Wow. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's 3 for 3 on Golden Sheaf. That's excellent.
What do you grade this blend, oh Blend Master?
A.
I'll agree. This is an A blend.
Wow.
The Golden Sheaf Burr Rye blend. A, not bad. David Mark Young, thank you much, sir, for bestowing this amazing gift upon the world. And T, as I'm known to say around here. All that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E. Nation for this special review of Golden Sheaf Rye and our impromptu review of their Burr Rye. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. God bless every last one of you, and I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E. Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. T, take it away.
Good day. Got the blend, got to try some rye. Just everything, just wonderful. Cheers to Nebraska and all of the wonderful people at Golden Sheaf for giving us these wonderful spirits. Catch you on the next one.
Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation, folks, for a very interesting spirits review. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes you the podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, and the lord of the Scottish Highlands. And I am joined this evening here at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch by my two indomitable broadcast partners, the one, the only,
your Big Buckin' Emperor Chicken. Find me Facebook and YouTube, Big Buckin' Empire.
and also
The Blend Master, quadruple distilled, non-chill filtered, 14-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast Champion, Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe.
So, folks, gentlemen, we're going to get into what's the new darling of the Nebraska bourbon scene. This is Golden Sheaf Finish Blended Whiskey, bourbon finished in Tropasti port casks. 57.5 alcohol by volume, 115 proof.
Ooh.
Batch number 1. Bottle 121 of 300, so there's not a whole lot of these out there, folks. And this is another one of the creations from that bourbon mad scientist himself, David Mark Young. Full disclosure, he's thumbs up a few of my Facebook bourbon posts before. So whoa. I mean,
it's thumbs up to him.
Yes.
Yeah, thumbs up to you too. But yeah, so there you go, folks. Full disclosure, he has reacted to a thing I've done online once. So,
All right.
so let's see.
No bias.
Well, Chicken, I'll let you, since this is your bottle.
So yeah, I did find this in Columbus, Nebraska.
Hy-Vee.
Yeah, I found it at the Hy-Vee in Columbus.
All right.
Ooh.
Let's
I did happen to see
Yeah,
it.
it's got some of that. Yeah, last you got to get that off. Remember last time
they got some
it caught it and it kind of muted the.
Yeah.
You want
Oh, man up. I should have a pocket knife for this. One of those. It's all right. They're secure in that cork. I like it.
Yep.
Protect that whiskey. All right, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was bass.
Good one.
That
Love those synthetic corks.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about getting bits of anything in your whiskey.
Yes.
And we've all had a cork or two have that happen.
Yes,
Oh,
and
hell
always
yeah.
hang on to your.
Yeah, especially the synthetic ones. You can repurpose them. So, Tony, I'm going to hand the back of the bottle reading off to you while me and Chicken consider the nose.
Distillery number 1, Omaha, Nebraska. We are proud and honored to present to you the first of many finished bourbon, finished blended expressions. This initial blend is a bourbon finished in Tropasti Port style wine cask produced by James Arthur Vineyards, also of Nebraska.
Good stuff there. I love their Edelweiss. Is that how you say
Edelweiss, yep.
it? Yeah,
Yep.
good stuff.
It is very nice. In honor of their 25th anniversary, James Arthur Vineyard bottled their award-winning, finely crafted 12-year-old Tropasti Port wine and allowed us to refill those casks with a specially selected bourbon for a beautiful and delectable wine-finished whiskey. Cheers and happy 25th, James Arthur Vineyard. We selected a blend of 2 8-year and 1 7-year whiskeys, sourced from Indiana and Kentucky. Our blend is a unique combination of 82% corn, 16% rye, and 2% malted barley, which was proofed down to its sweet spot at 115 proof or 57.5 ABV. We hope you enjoy our special collaborative creation. Cheers, David Mark Young.
Cheers to you. And yeah, we didn't know this was a collaboration with James Arthur Vineyards, which is
that kind of now.
Wow, that's a
beautiful
beautiful
that wine. Yeah,
beautiful port nose.
I was about to say, do I dare make the comparison?
I would guess Scotch if I just
Well,
took one smell.
I was gonna say like the nose, like the port end, reminded me a lot of Dalmore.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
And as you know, I'm a bit of a fanboy of the Dalmore.
Yeah, I would immediately guess Scotch because that's generally where you're going to see a port finish. But yeah, the more I get into it,
my
you can
first
tell
thought
it's
would
bourbon.
be like, okay, it's got a port finish like the Dalmore, but there's a lot more grain here, and there's not nearly as much malted barley. So
No.
honestly, my first thought would be port finished rye. I know that's not.
it's
Oh, okay.
only, what, 15% rye?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
That's kind
odd.
of medium. It's 16%. That's kind of medium. It's not a high rye.
Yeah, it's got a exceptionally high corn to the point where this could almost be called a corn whiskey
Yeah.
by some measures.
82%.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one.
I'm loving the nose.
Shall we?
I believe we
shall.
shall. Chocolate candied cornbread
Oh, baby.
Definitely
with some
cornbread.
spice.
Cornbread with spice, yep.
Oh,
Chocolate's on the front. It fades fast
Oh, wow. Yeah.
my God.
into some heavy spice on the back.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
I think you nailed it on the cornbread. I get a lot, like buttery cornbread with the spice afterwards, like you said. There is a little sweetness on the front.
Yeah, I
hit that.
I think the front is chocolatey, but it doesn't last long.
What was
But-
that? What was that you were saying about?
Chocolatey cornbread with spicy sweet on
No,
the end.
before we started the review, you said something about Mr. Young giving you thumbs up.
Yeah, give me a thumbs up.
We'll take that thumb, stick it in a Christmas pie, and pull out a plum because I'm getting a little bit of that.
Okay.
Wow, not where it's like he had us going in the first half. Not gonna lie.
But it's that heavy port. That heavy port with the high corn mash bill.
Yes.
It's really nice.
The nose matches it. Like it's a different palate than the nose, but they blend well together.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes
Yeah.
you go back to that nose and you're like, that's not what you expect.
I never would have guessed a high corn
A
would mix
great
this well with a
example
port finish.
that I always point to where the nose can be hauntingly good, but the palate doesn't live up to it. Usually is the Macallan. It's one that I usually go to. Tony disagrees, but
we
this
like
one,
Macallan
the
on
nose,
edges.
the nose and the palates are, like you said, they're different, but they do harmonize.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yes.
else to put it there.
When you go back to it, they complement each other.
Yeah. This is really
Now this
nice.
is 2 8 years and 1 7 years. So
Yeah.
Yep.
do we need to do the 8-second?
I suppose I'll let you guys go in first. So, Mr. Young, a very interesting, and I like the fact that you're collaborating with Nebraska businesses like James Arthur Vineyards. I like how with every new iteration, you're coming out with more ways to bring Nebraska into the fold. Because let's be frank, guys, the Kentucky boys don't need the press.
Agreed. That port just comes
And
through
with
harder. and
wine, the California boys don't need the press. Like, Nebraska could use a little love here.
Oh.
Yeah.
How'd that get there?
How does
Yeah.
that
Wow. What a coinky dink. Now,
crazy?
gentlemen, we now get to the hard part
Well,
here.
this is going to be
With
hard.
that 8-second, like
Yeah.
it was a little
Well, you-
tough with that spice, and in chewing through that because it lingers. There's one other one that we've done that was much tougher, but it was way higher proof.
Yeah.
This one was more of the flavor that again it salivates your mouth.
Yep.
With that, some of those spices, the baking spice, the cinnamon that's in there, makes you salivate. It gets thick. Again, this is one of those hotter ones that
I get more coca
yeah.
the longer it stays. Honestly, I just get more like coca powder, coca,
Yeah, it's
chocolate.
dry coca, yeah.
But and it's hot.
Yeah.
Like if they mixed it with chili powder hot. Like it's
Okay.
Almost like a pepper. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
know
yeah,
chili,
there's-
but pepper.
so this is one of those whiskeys for the people like, do you like the sweet? Do you like the heat?
You get it all.
And then you just say yes. Here it is. Just yes.
Right here.
It's the sweet and the heat, all kind of
Beautiful.
wrapped up in, and really, what you want to express would really just be depending on how you cocktail it.
Yeah.
well, and then just the story of Golden Sheaf is kind of cool too.
Yeah. For us Nebraska boys, we gotta love it. Now, gentlemen, we get to the very difficult part of this.
All right.
The grading. For those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E Nation has advised you well. So we're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, cask-aged spirit. It's shelving. And for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. Now, I know some people say it's a blended whiskey, but it's bourbon finished in casks.
Yeah,
So
it's 3
let's be frank.
bourbons.
It's kind of like technically Breckenridge rum cask finished isn't technically a bourbon, but
right.
it's bourbon. So it's kind of like here. Like I get it, Tony. You and I have argued
be a-
rounds and rounds about what is and is not bourbon, but
Yeah.
this is bourbon.
You want to be a stickler? You get it.
Yes, but all right. So as a bourbon,
bourbon, actually, I'm gonna go. I love the port finish tremendously here. I think that makes this incredible stuff, but that's also not going to be in just anybody's wheelhouse. Plus, the proof is a little higher than just a casual, even bourbon drinker would appreciate. So I'm going to say 4 to 5 as a bourbon.
Okay. Chicken?
I'm not going to go quite that high on the bourbon piece of it.
Okay.
I'm breaking the scale a little bit. I'm going to go like 3.8. I think it's close to that 4-star for a bourbon, because like it is finished. It's not what you typically think of a bourbon. If you're a bourbon lover, you're going to love this, especially if you love finished bourbons. But it's just, I don't know. It's just a little short on the mark of the bourbon. Not knocking it at all.
No.
As you'll see in the future ratings.
Well, I was just about to say, like, because of its finishing, even if you love it, you almost can't give it 5 stars as a bourbon, just because it's outside of that.
It's a little too much controversy.
But I'm gonna split the difference between the two of you and give it 4 stars on a 5-star scale as a bourbon. But I'm gonna go ahead and rip the band-aid off here for the next one. As a whiskey, I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars because it's a little pricey. That's the one thing that I would. We'll get into that a little later. The one thing I would say, if you're gonna give any negatives, is it's a touch pricey, but as a whiskey, you can really cocktail this supremely well. And like, if you
gotta
want,
be very specific.
well, I think no, you just have to know what you're doing, because it's got the sweet and the heat, so you can express the sweet, or you can express the heat, depending on how you cocktail it.
Like if you were doing like a simple mix with like a root beer, I don't think that would be good at all. I just don't think. I think that would clash.
It'd be great with a cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke.
Oh, it'd just be
Yeah.
So
I think you got to be specific in what you're doing. Like,
but no, like
bartender cocktails, this would
like a whiskey fix, for example, an old fashioned whiskey sour. Any of those.
Try it, man. Nice.
Actually, my grandmother's favorite cocktail, the Bourbon Presbyterian, 3rd water, 3rd 7-Up, 3rd bourbon, served in a tall glass on ice. I think this would be ascendant in a bourbon press. So that is one I like. Chicken's like, I'm trying that when I go home.
I'm trying a couple things. Huh?
Yeah, so I'm going to give it 4.5 stars as a whiskey. Tony, what would you give it?
I'm going to go 4.25 as a whiskey. Again, because, as a whiskey, I personally love the finish, but like I said, it's got to be specific in how you use this. I don't know if this would go great on the rocks. I think that might negate some of the finishing. You'd have to try it, but I think this is as good as it should be for whiskey. So this is great. This is how it should be enjoyed. It's neat. I wouldn't get too crazy with it. So as a whiskey, 4.25.
So here's the fun part: is the bourbon sticklers are going to be like, "It's not a bourbon. It's not a bourbon."
Right.
Now, if you were to read all of it and kind of go, okay, get all that out of the way, and you present it to them as a whiskey, and then read it to them, and they'll be like, oh, that's pretty much a bourbon.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this is a 4.5-star whiskey that can present well as a bourbon. And what Phil said, I get it. There's some things it just won't work with, but that's every whiskey. I think there's a lot more it will work with than it won't. So 4.5, easy.
Alrighty. Now, as cask-aged spirit, Chicken, I'll let you go first here.
Obviously, casking has got a lot to do with
stealing Toner's gimmick.
Oh, sorry. I'm handsy. I'm in a corner. I'm claustrophobic.
Fair enough.
A lot of it has to do with the finish on here of what we got. The blend of, I'm sure, led to a 12-year wine cask. Is that?
12-year port cask.
That's got a lot to do with what the finished product is. So for that, I'll give it a 4.25. I think there's more to be done, but this is an excellent product. Again, little on the pricey side, but we'll get into it. I'm not regretting the price I paid, though. It's a risk to take.
Yeah. Well, I've always liked James Arthur Vineyards because their stuff's always very sweet. And so I always figured it would be a great...
And a 12-year wine?
Yeah, that'd be a great cask ager. Now, so, what do you give it, T?
I'm going to let you go first.
It's cask aged spirit. go 4.5.
4.5. So
4.5.
4.25, 4.5. Okay. I gave it 4.25 as a bourbon. I gave it 4.25 as a whiskey. I'm not going to give it 4.25 as a cask finish. I'm going to go 5 as a cask
5
finish.
stars.
This
Nine,
is
2, 3, 4.
fucking beautiful.
5.
This is all in the casking. It's all in the blending. They used some of the finest aged product that they had available and took some of the most beautiful local barrels that they could find. Put
Some
it
of
all
the best
together.
stuff in the state.
This is a master class of cask finishing. 5 stars. I could drink this all day. Bathe me in this. This is beautiful.
So this is the stuff you want to like in the 300 remake or the sequel where Xerxes goes into the pool and then emerges smooth, clean, and new.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, maybe proof it down a little if I'm going to bathe in it, but yeah.
I was about to say, if you got any cut on you, you're going to know.
As a Nebraska native out of state now, this is definitely one that's gonna. It is gonna be one that I can proudly show off to folks and say, hey, you can only get this in Nebraska, made in Omaha, and tell them the whole story with it. I think this is a pretty easy sell.
Oh yeah.
To a lot of folks that come through to visit. I know bourbon hunters out of state that like to drive to Omaha and Lincoln and go chasing stuff. So I'll make sure I'm putting this on some radars because it's worth chasing after.
Yeah. At least the brand, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Now we turn to its shelving. Yeah, it's enough of a conversation piece to the point where, because I have the bourbon, just the regular old bourbon, no finishings on it or nothing. And it's sitting on my top shelf next to my William LaRue Weller and my Van Winkle 10. Yeah. So,
and it presents beautifully.
It does. It's a beautiful bottle. I honestly, I enjoyed this one more than the bourbon we tried together.
I agree.
This one impressed me. Now I got to try the rye.
Yeah, I got to get the rye.
Oh yeah,
got to get the rye.
Well, all right. Whew. I'll let one of you boys pick up the rye, and I've made a few
contributions.
I've made a few bad decisions in whiskey hunting lately, but that's neither here nor there. Well, I mean, okay.
We love them.
Yeah, you guys love them, but all right.
Great choices, Phil.
All right. Now the secret 5th question. When this bottle runs empty, will you seek another? Chicken, what did you pay USD for this bottle?
$109 before tax is what it was.
$109. That's a lot of scratch.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say for the bourbon, I don't know if I'd pay $100 again. If I catch it on sale for like $80, I'd jump on it. But these new finished products, the juice is going to be worth the squeeze on this. So if there is a new run of a limited 300 bottles of this the next time around, you might want to pick it up because it's going to be something rather special. And it's going to be something, like I said, the juice is worth the squeeze. So yes, I will seek out a bottle of this if I can find it. Tony?
I really like this. So I would say yes, but I also really want to try the rye. So it's going to come down to what I'm feeling that day.
I was about to say, Chicken's got this one. I've got the bourbon.
Yep.
You just as well get the rye. And then we can do some more comparison videos. Yeah. I think that's a necessity coming down the pipe.
I think I know where one more bottle of this is.
I have to know where one is.
If I strike out tomorrow on other stuff going home, I might just pick up that other one.
Hey, there you go. Well, David Mark Young, thank you, sir.
Well done, sir.
Yes. A thumbs up. So
I give him 2.
Hey, as I'm known to say around here. All that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E. Nation for this special review of Golden Sheaf Finished Bourbon Port Cask Finished. I am your King of Extreme Phil, K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, and the lord of the Scottish Highlands himself. Signing off, handing it off. I hope all of you make it back here to the K.O.E. Nation happy, healthy, much the wiser. Tony, Chicken, take it away.
Folks, make sure you support your local distilleries and liquor stores and make friends with some good folks behind the counter. You can get some good stuff. Trust me.
Go Nebraska. Beautiful stuff.
Oh, and drink responsibly.
Yes. See you next time.